Good evening, everybody. You've come here tonight, I believe, to get an insight into Auracasting. I guess the people here have heard about it, but I reckon most people in this church and a lot of geeks have never heard the word Auracast. My aim is to tell you about it, but my number one aim is in this church to provide a service just like the telecoil, which will transmit the audio from this microphone into the ears, hearing aids, or into headphones or earbuds of the people sat in this room. That's the number one aim, to provide mainly the many elderly and more likely, in that case, my age, especially, to be hard of hearing. I've got super duper hearing aids in, otherwise I couldn't hear anything. So they have the displeasure of straining to hear some of the more soft-spoken preachers, okay? And the preacher himself is pretty easy to hear. Most preachers, but several are very, very softly spoken. Now, the second intent is if we were to buy an extremely expensive telecall system, it could cost to put a physical loop in the ceiling in this building, possibly $5,000, in a big church, $25,000. Now, this system, and I've not got it with me, but a little gadget, thank you, little white gadget, and it's basically, I can hold it in my hand. Okay. And this little gadget I'm showing you here, this is not a full-blown Auracast. It will only stream to 2 devices. But we could take that to another church, to the conference in October. We could take that to the conference, and given a basic multi-output digital mixer, we could stream to everybody who had the correct receivers. Before I go into the benefits of Auracast, I just want to have one more plug. It's easy to forget the old people who are hard of hearing. If you're young and normal, you don't care. You can hear me perfectly, I'm sure. You can hear even the soft-spoken people perfectly, because you lip read automatically. But please be aware, there are people here, they might not even come to church because they can't hear what the preacher's saying. Some preachers are inaudible. So please, if you come to church, put your ears full of cotton wool, right? See how you go on. That's what the old people who have not invested in hearing aids, and even with hearing aids, many are not programmed properly. So ask a few of these old people here. They're probably too embarrassed to admit they can't hear what's going on. And faith comes by hearing. That's in the scripture. We're not doing much Bible tonight, but that's your bit of Bible. In Romans 8, it says, faith comes by hearing. Now, to explain Auracast simply, it's no more than a Bluetooth transmitter. It can be paired to headphones, hearing aids, earbuds, or whatever, earphones, hearing aids especially. And you've probably all done that in your lifetime. You've paired a Bluetooth transmitter to a hearing device. But Auracast, I'm plugging that name. Aura is ears, cast refers to streaming, okay? There's a big difference. It uses a technology called Bluetooth 5.3. Actually, it's already gone to 5.4, and I will be on the lookout that 5.4 will be superseded by 5.5. It normally happens in IT. You get a higher spec. However, with Bluetooth 5.4, right, this will transmit, right, from one transmitter, not to one receiver like you have probably on your home devices. You'll get only maybe one, maybe two. You might get two receivers. But, however, with Bluetooth 5.4, right, Auracast transmits not to one receiver, but to a room full. Everyone in this room could have. I'm getting hearing aids next Monday, which will be Auracast enabled. There's only 3 made at the moment. That's Signia IX, which I'm getting on Monday. Should have been, they're actually in the audiologist clinic today, but he couldn't fit me in. Otherwise, I could have come and demonstrated my new hearing aids. The other is Oticon Intent, and it's ReSound next year. Only 3 models out of thousands. Now, next year, they'll keep bringing this in. You won't go, if you knew about Auracast, you wouldn't buy hearing aids which weren't enabled to Bluetooth 5.4. Okay? Now, I've not got my mobile phone handy, but on my mobile phone I've got 50, 60 apps. You'll get an app which will call the Auracast Assistant. I can't find it yet, but it will be out very soon. And you could be in a sports bar, okay? I just got to mention that's the Samsung S23, which I'm an iPhone maniac. I don't have Samsung anymore, but the Samsung S23 is already Auracast enabled. But if you're in a sports bar and there's 5 televisions, you can actually take your mobile phone and select which they would come up on the app, the assistant automatically, and you could choose. I would choose soccer. Okay, I'm not into AFL, so I choose a soccer TV, and I could hear the audio from that. You've all been in the airport and you've heard the gate number 52 from there is now departing. If you're not on the plane, you've missed it, but you don't hear it. Even with good hearing, it's mumbo jumbo. But I'm sure airports will have Auracast. You'll hear it clearly. Will David please report to the departure lounge because your plane is going in 5 minutes? I would miss that. David would miss the plane, but I could hear it clearly, direct into my hearing. Like you have headphones on, you can hear every word perfectly. Okay, I'm just going to go through this quickly. The old technology of telecoil, we could have almost on the brink of putting it in this building. We're moving, it would have been wasted. We could have spent $5,000 on a physical coil and technicians installing it. It can cost, in a big auditorium, say like the Festival Theatre, they'd be paying $25,000 to put a telecoil on that building. No matter what the size of the building, you'd be battling to spend more than $200 for the best device, okay? And throughout, certainly even South Australia, there are hundreds of auditoriums just waiting to hear from you to receive this equipment. I'm not marketing this, I'm just wish I was young enough to take it on. Now, with Auracast, the beauty is it's a small Bluetooth transmitter. It can be plugged. There's you've all seen a 35mm audio jack. You take your 35mm audio jack and you plug it in to an output on your mixer, your digital mixer. Okay, stick it in and it's ready to go. Okay, I'm not sure, and the range like I've got here is 30 meters. It would cover this church easily. You could be in the car park and still hear this sermon. It can some go up to 100 meters, depending on the quality and the cost of the little transmitter. But you'd be battling to spend $100. I've got one coming. It's cost me about $50. It'd be better to do this next week, because I'll have the hearing aids and I'll have a full-on Auracast 5.4 transmitter, which were one transmitter and multiple receivers. I'll have that next week. I might demonstrate it. Okay, I'm not sure, but I've read somewhere it's possible that your old earbuds, headphones, etc. may be enough. Like Bluetooth 4.0 may receive this. Yeah? We're still in the learning stage, I don't know. I've sent for, as it says there, new 5.4 earbuds, and they're only $10.45. Okay. So if you were to be a technician, it would take you 30 seconds to plug this in to a mixer. Immediately the job is done. You could charge them $1,000. Depends how penny pinching you are. If you want to make a big profit, and they wouldn't question. You know, the most it could cost you is $100, and the profit, what's $1,000 minus $100, $900 profit for 5 minutes work. Of course, you'd have to do a lot of talking to make it sound worthwhile. Forgot we're Christians, we don't scam people. But you could still make a big profit on this. Okay, that's a picture of me holding it in my hand. That's how small it is on that picture. That's a 5.3 transmitter. It only supports 2 devices, but it's the same principle. And I say by next Wednesday, I'll have a multiple transmitter. Almost to the end of it. Okay, now, it's very hard to find good information on the internet. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, like reviews of this. It doesn't tell you very much. I've actually got one I could play tonight, about 6 minutes long. To actually, like I said before, JB Hi-Fi, I've never heard of it. They didn't have any hardware to meet my needs. I actually bought one for $80, and it's only a 4.0, so it's rubbish. So I spent $80. I could have spent, this is only like $20. This is a proper 5.4. I went to JB Hi-Fi, and they said, oh, you can get one for $160. I went on the eBay, and I bought it for $84 instead of half the price, $160, and I got it for $80. But it's still rubbish, because it only does Bluetooth 4.0. Now, the hardware is hard to get. I've found that Amazon and AliExpress is where you get genuine Auracast. And the prices range from as low as $20 up to maybe $100. But it's very hard to find a review on the hardware. It's very hard to find a review, a good review, that tells you exactly how to do it on the actual operation, the software. So at the moment, because there's no reviews to advise me, I've had to use the old-fashioned method of buy it and try it, as I said there. And I've spent over $200 on rubbish, and I've spent around about $46 on the thing that works. So I've invested $216 on buying rubbish that did not work. But now, on Wednesday, I should have one for under $50, which will cover this auditorium. Okay. So I exhort you to do what I've done, but do it better, and search for reviews on YouTube on what this is about, what Auracast does. I can't I've told you it's simple. It's a Bluetooth transmitter that will transmit to multiple receivers, and it will go up to 300 meters. Right, 30 meters for one in here, 100 meters for the festival theatre. You can sit in the car park 300 meters away and still hear what's going on inside the building. That might be a way to hear your Britney Spears, I don't know the names of these. Actually, you could hear all the singing from all these newfangled pop singers. You can sit in the car park and get it for free, I'm sure. Okay, right. Now, like I've just really said, I've been blindly buying hardware. I spent over $200 on basically rubbish, but now I'm hitting gold. I've found the real. This isn't bad. It does 2 devices. Okay. I've got tons of transmitters. This is a 5.3. It only supports 2 devices. We could test it on here. It may or may not work. Within the week, but I've got 3 fully Auracast devices. Okay, not just a 5.3 Bluetooth. It needs to be Auracast 5.3, 5.4. I can't read my own writing. We don't need hearing aids or earbuds. I've got one actually in the room there. You don't need to bring it out, but it's an earphone which goes over your ear and it just covers your ear. Probably like an AirPod or what, I don't know. I don't use AirPods, but it just, the receiver is over here, so it could work with my hearing aid or it could work with you guys who don't have hearing aid. So that might be the best bet to suit everybody. You get an earphone, not an earbud. Okay, so that's a tip for when we start. We could buy maybe 20 and just lend them out to people who whether they got hearing aids or just slightly hard of hearing. Most people over 50, 60 need to have hearing aids, but they're too proud to go around with things stuck in their ear. Yeah, amen. We've got some acknowledgement there. Okay. Now, my Auracast hearing aids, which is a Signia IX, are actually in the clinic. I rang him today, and he said, I can't fit you till Monday. I thought, I could have had them here tonight. Right, last slide, I think, yep. Then we can see what happens. Okay. Now, my disclaimer is I'm a learner on Auracast. The Bible says we have nothing that we haven't received. I've received a lot, but I can't tell you very much because it's not very good what I've found. But I want you to go out there and see what you can find. Don't just take I've got the very beginning knowledge on Auracast. Okay, I know more than JB Hi-Fi. They never heard of Auracast. You are, guys here, you heard the word Auracast. You can go into JB Hi-Fi. How come you don't have Auracast devices? They're crazy. Every hearing aid that's made, the next one's being made, will be upgraded. I'm hoping there could even be a firmware update. These are just temporary hearing aids I've got. There could even be a firmware update for every existing hearing aid, which will bring it up to Auracast Bluetooth 5.4.
Technology that the Bluetooth world is going crazy about. The newest TVs, all the newest phones that are launching here in the future are going to have this Auracast type of technology. Auracast. So you kind of have to hear that a couple times. So it's like aural, like your ear, and cast, like broadcast. Auracast. And Auracast is a form of Bluetooth that can be used with low energy Bluetooth that is a more stable signal which we love. So we're going to want to talk about that. So it's more stable, but it's also more robust. It's bigger and it's stronger. I'll tell you, it's reminding me a little bit of when I had a CD player in my car, and I love the CDs. Some of you had fancy cars that could load multiple CDs, but most of us, we'd put a CD in and you'd have to take it out if you wanted to switch to a new band or a new group.
Did you have the big thing in your car with like all the CDs in it, like tucked under the back seat?
For sure. You have the big briefcase thing, and you open it up and you're like, take your pick.
Hey.
And, it's kind of like going to the library. It was kind of fun.
Fun.
But then we switched to a new technology called MP3 players, where all the songs were loaded onto first those iPods and things like that, and then your phones could do it. And so it became way more convenient, and the ability to switch between songs, the ability to get the best signal possible, because with MP3s you couldn't scratch the song. Like you couldn't have a song that had issues just because the CD was scratched, right?
Yeah, it was a big deal. When we went from CDs to the MP3 players, big deal.
Well,
similar here, right?
Yes, where I was going. I know that was a long introduction on that.
We got excited about CDs.
Holy cow. I just went right back to like my high school years. What I was trying to say is, with our current technology and how it connects to Bluetooth phones and different things, sometimes the connection can be off. Sometimes the connection can be a little sporadic or not quite as constant and consistent as we'd like. With this new Auracast and the new low energy Bluetooth audio, the way it works together, the signal is much stronger, much more robust, much more consistent. And so that's going to be a big deal for when we're on phone calls. Maybe we're streaming sound from a TV to our ears. It's going to be a much, much more consistent and clean, like a more clean and clear signal. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about it. This Auracast is a feature of this Bluetooth low energy audio, and it's going to allow some really cool things. So I want to jump in and talk about a couple of these. One thing that it allows, it's going to allow streaming from one device to multiple receiving devices. So to say that another way, let's say that you're sitting in a theater. Let's say you're at Tuacahn. You're watching a show at Tuacahn.
Love Tuacahn.
You're struggling to hear and understand the dialogue a little bit. You're going to be able to tap in to the person, the actor, the whole cast and crew.
Microphone.
They're going to have a microphone that's going to be broadcasting this Auracast signal. You're going to be able to receive that through your AirPods or through your headphones,
right.
You directly, but it's not just one-to-one. Usually with Bluetooth, if I'm watching a movie on an airplane, I'm watching a movie and I'm wishing my wife could watch it with me, but only, maybe we have to use a splitter and we each use one earbud and we're both kind of tapping into to the audio. This is going to allow that phone to broadcast to both of us.
That's right.
So if we both have AirPods in, we're both going to be able to get the audio. Back to Tuacahn, there might be 50 people in the crowd that are trying to tap into this. All 50 will be able to tap into that one broadcast at once.
Exactly.
This is revolutionary. This is cool stuff.
And going to church, we hear this one a lot here in Utah, where you've got this congregation and some of the people in the congregation don't hear well. One speaker at the pulpit speaking and broadcasting, and the people wearing hearing devices like these can just receive that signal directly. So it's some of the things coming with this Auracast, and having the devices that are ready for that technology. The new TVs, like we said, being at church, going to the Hales Theater up in Salt Lake, or maybe you're at the Smith Center down in Vegas, or maybe our own Tuacahn. Think about how fun that is to get a direct sound, as in no distance. It's like the person singing or talking at the pulpit is talking right to you.
It's right in your ear.
Bam.
This is cool stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, this is really cool stuff.
So that's a big, huge feature. What else do you love about this?
Well, I actually want to talk about this Auracast just a little more, if that's okay.
Yeah, keep it going.
I mean, this is exciting to me because, just to be clear, the hearing aids are going to be able to tap in directly to this, but so are other devices.
Yeah.
It's not just hearing aids. People in the crowd at Tuacahn, they're going to be able to tap in through their phone and maybe plug headphones in and listen to it. Someone else might have AirPods. They're going to be able to tap into it. Someone wearing the hearing aids are going to be able to tap right into it. It's bigger than just hearing aids, and which I think is a really cool thing.
Huge,
and the way it's going to work, as I understand it, is a lot of it is going to go through smartphones. Mm-hmm. You know how when you're someplace and you're trying to tap into the Wi-Fi, mm-hmm. and you pull the Wi-Fi up on your phone and there's a whole menu of Wi-Fi options, mm-hmm. and you're looking at all these different Wi-Fi things. My understanding is that's how it's going to be with the Bluetooth. You're going to go into a Bluetooth menu on your phone, mm-hmm. and there's going to be a whole bunch of different options. Let's say you're at Chili's. Right. You know, getting some baby back ribs.
Maybe they have a couple TVs up there.
There's a bunch of games playing at the same time. You're going to be able to pull up your Bluetooth menu, and it's going to say like TV 1, TV 2, TV 3. And if you want to tap into one of those games, you hit it, you're listening to the game.
Yep.
Let's say there's 20 people in there, they all want the same game. They're all going to be able to tap in simultaneously, kind of through their phone, and either listen through their hearing aids or listen through any kind of headphone that they have. Anyway, awesome. That's pretty cool stuff. So
thank you for watching our video today. If you have any questions or if you'd like to reach out to us,
if you're interested in this, or maybe you have a loved one or someone you care about, probably needs some hearing help,
you can get a free consultation with either me or Dr. Lukengay.
You can call us anytime. Any of our doctors would love to return that call.
We'd love to talk with you over the phone or in person to answer any questions that you might have.